Hi, this is Axel Nunez from NYC Geek Society, and I'm here with Andrew Linde of Juncture Media, and we're taking a look at AVARIA versus. So this game immediately stood out to me. I'm a big fan of JRPGs, that type of genre. Like I grew up with like Final Fantasy VII, and I've never seen anything like this where you have like an online element where you're playing against other parties. How did this idea come about?
Well, exactly like you, I grew up playing Final Fantasy, and you spend like 150 hours building this party up, and you and your friend are talking about the game, but I always wanted to know who was better. Whose party was better? Whose cloud was stronger? And so I waited for years. I was in the music industry most of my life, and I saw that nobody was making this game, and so I said, somebody's got to make this game, and I guess it's got to be me. And that's where we are.
So how long was this game in development for? Like when did the idea start to develop?
About 5 years ago, I started with the pen and paper design of the heroes and the classes and the whole story. So I spent about 1.5 years just doing that by myself. And then about 2.5 years ago, we started putting a team together to actually develop the game. And we're working on a story game too, which is called AVARIA Ghost of the Immortal. So we were working on those two games side by side for the first 2 years, and then we decided to actually just focus on shipping Versus first. And so we hope to put this out and then immediately go back to working on the story game and come out with that next.
Oh wow, so in the story game, it'll have like the same classes and races. So there are 4 classes. Could you tell me about the classes in this game?
So I'm actually wearing the shirt with the symbols from the classes. So we've got Eoni. They're an alien race. They use telekinesis and meditation as their main powers. Then we have the Mana Soldier. So they're like the brute force attackers. They're a new race of soldier that's being created on Avaria. Then we've got the Servos, which are a robot class, and they have a lot of defensive abilities, and they're kind of like the comic relief characters, that goofy JRPG character. And then we've got mages, which are pretty classic mages, a lot of heals, a lot of buffs. There's also a couple offensive mages as well.
Do you have a favorite class?
I think my favorite class is probably the Eoni, just because they can deal damage and they have really sick buffs. So I just like the variety of that, the toolkit that the Eoni brings. Yeah.
You said they're like a genderless, emotionless.
Yeah.
Are they like cold and calculated, or?
They're a little bit different. So they're like that, exactly. Emotionless, genderless. They're immortal as well. So the only way they can die is from physical violence. Also, another thing to know about Eonis is that if they feel emotion, if they actually should feel emotion, they begin a process transforming into a Hume. So it's a kind of, they can become Hume if they feel emotion. So
Hume as in human?
Hume. It's different. Okay. Humes on Avaria possess magic, and they're very beautiful people. Not like us ugly humans, like every Hume is beautiful, No, but so yeah, that's kind of the way that the Eonis are set up.
Emotion plays a big part in this game, at least from what I've read about it. What brought that about?
Well, I guess that's kind of personal experience. Like sometimes I feel like I'm kind of cold and kind of calculated, and so emotions are always kind of something that I'm on my personal life trying to embrace, and so I really wanted to create these 2 races where one was completely emotionless and one was so full of emotion that they were bursting with it. So the Humes actually need to use emotions to harness mana. So for them to use magic, they have to channel emotions. And so, just kind of this juxtaposition between the two was just kind of how the whole story started.
Wow. So, it's really deep. So, how fast-paced is this game? What's the length of the matches?
Sure. Yeah. So matches, we have a target time between 6 and 9 minutes is what we're kind of aiming for. So if it's 2 people that are playing a really offensive heavy class, they could whack away at each other and be done really fast. Whereas if 2 turtle kind of builds get in there, it could take longer. But we really wanted it to feel it is a turn-based game. It's truly a turn-based game, but we wanted it to feel action-y, you know? So like with the timer going and you have to move really fast, it's like sometimes you forget it's a turn-based game because it's coming at you, like you got to make these decisions. So a lot of people say, I don't like turn-based games. And then they sit down and they play it and they're like, oh, this is awesome. This doesn't feel like it's turn-based. So that's been one of the coolest compliments, you know, that we've gotten.
So, reading that description over there, it says like you will face judgment.
Yeah.
Is that if you don't make your decisions quickly enough?
So the judge, she is our sort of sudden death mechanic. So after a certain amount of rounds, the judge starts to show up and it gives you a warning. And every time the judge appears, she kills the lowest HP character. And it starts with 1, then goes to 2, and then goes to 3. So it's really cool. Once you learn the judge mechanic, you can use it to your advantage because you see when it's about to happen. So maybe instead of attacking that round, you might heal your lowest HP character and make sure that they're not the lowest, and then get your enemy killed by the judge.
Do these characters have like some sort of limit breaks or?
They do. So when characters reach level 5, they can perform a move called a focus burn. And the focus burns are their alts. And the focus burn gets triggered right when you do it, but there's a mini game that also happens. If you successfully complete the mini game, you get a bonus effect on top of your focus burn. So we always wanted there to be a little bit of dexterity element, right? So imagine you play the exact same party as me, and we do the exact same moves. Who's gonna win that match? Well, there's 2 ways to break that tie. One is the focus burns. If I'm landing my mini games, I'm gonna have an edge over you. Also, if there's a speed tie, so if we have the same character and they're both speed 5, who acts first? Whoever inputted faster. So if we had the same attacker and we both did the same move, if I input a split second before you, I'm going to hit you first and maybe get the killing blow before you get to do it.
So it's about those twitch reflexes.
Yeah, like at the underneath it all, there's some dexterity that's needed. But it's a turn-based game. Like you don't have to be twitchy to be good at this game. If you have a better strategy, you'll win overall.
Wow, this sounds really exciting. So when is this game going to be released?
I would love to be able to give you a release date, but it's coming very soon. We're going to announce it everywhere once we have it, but we're aiming in the next few months. Like, it's definitely coming soon.
Awesome. 5 years in development. I'm excited to see it come out. Can't wait to play it. What platforms will it be on?
We're starting with Steam, PC, Mac. So if the response is good, we're going to roll it out to consoles as quickly as we can after that.
All right, super excited to play it. Anything you wanted to do a promo for before we close out?
If you grew up playing Final Fantasy, I think we've got an experience here with AVARIAvs that just isn't out there. You can finally fight your friends with your own party. So look for it on Steam and join our Discord. We're always on Discord, and we are doing a 3rd open beta weekend very soon, and we're going to involve the public in that. So keep a lookout for that 3rd beta weekend, and you can sign up for your chance to join in.
Do you have a website to check out?
So you can go to avaria.world. That's AVARIA.world.
All right, so that was AVARIAvs. Super excited to check out this game when it comes out and check out the beta. This is Axel Nunez with NYC Geek Society. Geek out.